everybody. Long time no see. It's been a while, and as per usual, things are changing. And it always surprises me when I go through change, or when life throws change at me, more so, and forces me to change. Either in beliefs, which don't usually change, but expectations, or like wants, things that I'm striving for or that I thought that I wanted, and it's like a re-clarifying what I want. And I really shouldn't continue to be this surprised about it, honestly, because it happens so often in my life that somehow I just forget. And then it happens and I'm like, oh my god, there's change again. Like, why do I go through change? Everybody goes through change, you know. I personally think that there's an abundance of change in my life, but I don't really know why. And I know that it's helpful. It's just hard. It's hard to be in a state of feeling like it's constantly changing around me, or that like certain things have changed on a moment's notice. And I'm starting to wonder if I can ever expect anything to stay stable, other than like my core beliefs, which, yeah, because they haven't changed. It's kind of confusing, but you know, doing the best that I can with it, just like everybody does. And I am so sorry for my fake smile today. I wonder if anybody knew that it was fake. But I'm pointing out that it is a fake smile. It's not necessarily that it's an actual like fake smile. It's just that I find it morbidly funny. So it's more of like this sucks. Like, all right, I guess like I have to accept it, you know, like there's no other way around it. So one of the, like I said, change in my life comes in waves, and it's hard to deal with, especially since it's usually all at the same time because it comes in waves. Literally just said that. But it's like life thinks that if it was to throw one change at me, it'd be too easy for me. So it has to throw multiple in order to actually get me to grow the way that I need to. Which is good and bad. I wouldn't mind having a handout of something that's just a little bit easier. You know, maybe every once in a while. That'd be great. Like it wouldn't have to come in, you know, like a handful of things. It'd be fantastic. But nonetheless, here we are again. So it is what it is, and I think one of the hardest things is accepting it fully, because there's some things that, you know, like obviously you don't want to change. The biggest one for me recently, among like, I haven't changed jobs recently, but I've gotten a promotion, and like I've been making changes at my place of work, so that's a form of change. It's positive change, you know, it's good, it's just change still. More things with my personality are coming out. I've figured out things about like some of my psychological aspects, and that is a huge change. It's really, again, it's really nice to know, but it's still change that I have to learn about and grow with, which again is great. And I am so happy that like I've figured that little part out too, because of the fact that it's like when I found out that I was an INFJ. It's like a breath of fresh air. Let me try to speak. It's like a breath of fresh air, and a sign that I'm not alone, and or like not weird enough to where nobody knows, what's going on in the mind or in the heart. Which a lot of the things recently have been through the heart. And the holidays are always hard for me, and I know that I've talked about that before because of the fact that my grandma is no longer here. So this is actually, I haven't really been able to celebrate Christmas the past couple of years. Not the same way, at least. One of the years I wasn't like allowed to. Last year I did get to celebrate it with my grandpa and like a big portion of my family, but it still wasn't the same. And this year I'm just really not in the mood for Christmas at all, which is completely out of character for me. And I don't know if I'm gonna get like a late rush of it. I think the reason I'm not in the Christmas mood is because of the fact that I've been, again, cutting myself off. Because Christmas is a very family love time. Like it's very emotional and has a lot behind it. And I'm, sitting by my nice Christmas fire, if you will, fire in a box. But this is the first time that I've done this in a couple of months. Since before October. Because Christmas to me isn't just one day out of the year. The Christmas spirit is something that I try to sit in a lot, because it's all about, again, love and just acceptance and people being there for one another, spending time together and really cherishing moments. So it means a lot to me on deeper levels. And for whatever reason, right now, I just can't get into it. Which I know the reason as well. There's a multitude of reasons. Like I said, it comes in waves. Change comes in waves. And when I'm thrown into the waves of change, it's kind of like a shock. Like I said, because I never expect it. But it's so immersive that and like strong that like I can't always handle it, so I have to make adjustments and stop certain things from going on in either my mind or my heart, how it all works together and shows itself. But yeah, one of the things that is stopping me, or like one of the reasons that I cut myself off recently, is because I got into a really good relationship with somebody who I thought was like, we were like counterparts, and it was fantastic. We had great times. and it didn't necessarily like pan out, obviously, the way that I had wanted it to. And, you know, at first it was like, I don't understand why it's happening, or like why it's, you know, ending. Because you can just, you know, you feel when it's done. And, you know, at that point it's like, okay, well, if it's done, it's done. Like, there's, you know, nothing else that I can do about it. It's hard going over the things that really made it work, and then just seeing like the cut, because it's like it doesn't really make a lot of sense. But again, things happen for a reason, and there was a lot that I learned about myself, that I learned about what I want in the future. Like, I even thought about my travel plans again, and like that changed, and like it really helped me be more not so up in the clouds, because always being up in my mind, and like feet were barely ever on the ground, and when they were on the ground it was like a I'm only here temporarily type of thing. And it was hard to live in reality. And like learning some of the things about like my insecurities or my flaws or expectations that I have on myself and on another person, and it's like, where do these come from? Why are these here? Like, what's important about them? What do I want? What means something to me? What's important to me? And like I said, it's hard looking at it and knowing that it could have worked, you know, if like it was a long distance thing. So I honestly believe it could have worked if it wasn't. And I think that was probably the biggest thing, other than like the fact that we needed to grow still as people. But you know, everything else could have meshed better. But then again, you never know. You know, like it could have been completely, like that assumption could be completely wrong. It could have been way worse. It could have gone down the same path that other relationships have gone down. Like, we could have not ended on good terms. We, you know, literally any and all possibilities could have happened. So it's unfair for me to think that, oh, this one would have worked out, when it's like, I don't know that. And all I do know, and all I can actually accept, is that it was what it was. It is what it is. And I can take from it what I want to. So why would I focus on the negative? Why not take the positives that I can from it and learn from it and grow into a better person on my own in order to have a better future with somebody else? And again, like it's easier said than done. You know, everybody goes through heartbreak. This is one of the only true heartbreaks I've ever been through. Other than losing my grandma, which tore me apart, and still does. But, you know, it's still beneficial in a lot of ways. And you can't avoid pain, suffering, loss, grief. That's something that I learned the hard way, and I feel like it was a re-solidifying of that message, because I've been avoiding the pain and the suffering and the sadness with my grandma recently. So I don't know, maybe there's something else that I've been missing. Maybe I just needed to go through true heartbreak with, a significant other. Because, again, every relationship ending hurts. But that doesn't mean it affects you, in the same ways. Different people, different relationships, But some of the things that I have learned, which other people have, said, is that through your life, through your relationships, whatever it is, the best things you can do afterwards are learning to forgive yourself. Even if you did something wrong, if you didn't do anything wrong, if you made mistakes, if you didn't make mistakes, if there was something you were supposed to do that you didn't do, if you felt like you asked for too much, if you feel like you screwed up, anything, literally anything, and nobody's perfect. Obviously, it's, again, easier said than comprehended, but I think we all try to be perfect in our relationships to some degree, or at least I do. Always trying to work on things and always trying to make sure that it's what would work best, for myself and the other person. And I don't believe that I know that I've said this before. I don't believe that there's just one person for everybody. I think that there are multiple people that are good for you. There's so many of us, and, I have to hiccup. Sorry. There's so many people out there, and it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to think that there's only one person out there for everybody, because what if something actually happened to that one person? Are you destined to be alone forever? No. No one is. Everybody deserves to be happy. Everybody deserves love and kindness and comfort and support and actual unconditional love. I truly believe that, and I tell that to, I think, everybody. I could be wrong, but I know that I at least used to say it more. Again, with the whole not feeling recently thing, I don't think I've said it as much as I normally do. But this is kind of like a re-solidifying thing, like I said. And I'm trying to treat myself, I've read this in, articles and books and stuff, you're supposed to treat yourself in the times where you're hurt like you would treat your best friend if they were hurt. What would I say to my best friend if they were going through heartbreak? What would I say to some people that, I just knew that they were sad? The one lady at the restaurant, the day where she had just come from, learning that her family member passed away and her friends couldn't make it, and then so everything was just going wrong that day. What would I say to those people, and it's hard to treat yourself as you treat other people, because we're all our own harshest critics. But learning to forgive yourself and treating yourself as somebody who deserves compassion and happiness is one of the best ways to handle the pain and suffering of a loss, of any kind of loss. And then also, slight mind shifts, or taking from the experience, something to learn from, to grow and change on and with, because there's always a learning experience in almost everything. I feel like there are like slight small things that don't have meaning, but or don't have like larger meanings, but I truly do believe that everything happens for a reason, and that what is happening in your life right now is what you need to go through right now. So, you know, maybe this is what I need to go through right now. I'm not sure why. I don't know what it means for my future. I don't know what it means for the short term, for the long term. You know, there's only so much that you can really derive from it at the time. But as long as you're trying to reframe it, reframe any situation in a more positive light, and just trying to learn for the future, for being better for yourself, or for whatever reason it is that you want to be better. Like I said, I learned so much in such a short period of time. I know that it's super beneficial. I don't regret. I'm pretty sure that I have said this before. I don't regret things that I've done in my life. I know that I make the best decisions that I can at the time. So I trust myself. I don't regret the decisions that I've made over the years. The only thing that I regret isn't even something I had a choice about. And that was, you know, losing my grandma. So that's the only thing that I would change if I could go back and change it. Because everything else has made me who I am today. Even losing my grandma has made me who I am today. And it's really hard to accept. But it is what it is. And I don't know, it's hard to let it motivate myself to continue, you know, striving to be better, because obviously there are at times where it's like you just want to dwell and you want to sit in it and you want to be sad and you want to, you know, have a little pity party, which you should feel all of your feelings. Or again, should is a word that really shouldn't even be in the language. Shouldn't. But it's something that I don't believe should, or it's hard to explain in more words than I've already explained, because over explanation, it's great. It's hard to let it motivate, and you should definitely feel your feelings. I should be feeling my feelings more than I am now, but here we are. So I think it's actually motivating me to getting back to being me. I feel like I haven't really been me in the past like month, which is not good, because, you know, again, I think it has a lot to do with stress and worrying too much about what other people think of me. And I think that's also why I haven't made a video in a while, because I don't know, like it's really hard as an INFJ to make YouTube videos. I don't know if anybody else feels the same way about that, but there's definitely a lot to do with the fact that it's like I don't want to upset anybody. I don't want anybody to take offense to either who I am or, you know, what I'm saying. And it's like, to some degree, it's like, you know, if you don't like what I'm saying, don't watch. But, you know, at the same time, it's like I don't like upsetting people. So it's a struggle. And, but I do miss making videos, and I think I say that almost every video. Because it's true. I'm trying to figure out how to manage it well enough to where I can make more videos. And I'm also trying to figure out how to make shorter videos, because as we all know, I love to ramble and go off on tangents and talk about nothing for like 5 minutes, or the same thing for like 10. So it's interesting. Trying to figure out what works the best for me, which I think is all anybody can try to do as a person, and trying to figure out how to be happy day to day, which happy is not a consistent feeling that stays around, like content. Content is a better emotion to have as like a baseline, and then having, you know, being happy within being content. So yeah, just learning about myself and how to do that. And it's really challenging. Really challenging. But I really hope that, you know, maybe this video was helpful for somebody, for anybody. And yeah, I'm gonna be talking about like some personality disorders soon. So yeah. I don't remember if I said that it is Christmas Eve. So anybody watching this, I hope you have or had a wonderful Christmas, and that you made it what you wanted it to be. So, Merry Christmas. It's good being back.